Hello, and welcome to my very first game review. Today, we'll be talking about the Call of Juarez. There might be slight spoilers, so I made sure to put the link down for the Steam page if you want to check it out on your own, or I also left the link to the gameplay series that we did in case you want to check me playing it. Before we begin, I just want to say that all the opinions in this video are my own, so take everything with a grain of salt, and just know that if you didn't like anything in this video or anything in the gameplay, leave the comments down below, or tell us what you did love, and we'll see if we can play some more westerns. Also, last thing, I'll be providing timestamps in the description down below too, in case you want to check out certain parts of the video, or you just want to see what we're going to be talking about today. Well, let's jump into it anyway. So we recently finished up Call of Juarez, a game that was developed by Techland. Yes, that company that made the Dying Light or Dead Island series. I didn't even know that they made this game until the logo popped up on the screen. It's kind of wild, kind of like how you don't even realize another game company made another game in the past, like Insomniac made Spider-Man and they made Ratchet & Clank. Or Sucker Punch made Ghost of Tsushima, and they made Sly Cooper, so pretty cool, huh? Now, Call of Juarez was a game that came out in 2006. This was a big year for gaming, because it had games like Bully, Oblivion, and even Gears of War, some of my favorite titles. Now, while they are some of my favorite titles, that doesn't mean they're all rated the same level, kind of like Call of Juarez. It came out in 2006, but I wouldn't put it up there with Oblivion, yet it's still a great game. I honestly didn't know what to expect whenever I started up the game, and I think that was a good thing, because it could have gone either way and I would have been surprised. So let's talk about that a little bit more. At its core, Call of Juarez is a classic Western revenge story. It follows two main characters, Billy Candle and Ray McCall. Billy is a kid, more like a young adult, returning home from his adventure looking for the gold hidden beneath the Mexican sands. And on his way home, he passes through town. A town that doesn't like him, nor do they ever love him. And after being chased out, he finds himself crawling back home, where he hears his mother screaming.
Ah! Thomas! You get away from her, you bastard! You hear me? I'll kill you!
Ray is a righteous reverend with a violent outlaw past, and he holds much repentance for that past because of the things that he's done. Yet, during a sermon, he's alerted to his brother's death, and he rushes off, and upon entering the farm, he finds Billy there, standing amongst the carnage.
Call of Juarez. Billy, what did you do?
The writing of these characters and the stories told are fairly simple. I'm going to be honest with you about that. Yet they kept me engaged, and I found a lot of the beats of the story very effective and fun to watch. Ray is this, raging bull. He doesn't care who he has to hurt to get what he needs. It reminds us as the player that old habits die hard. No, I'm not like that kind of die hard. As for Billy, he's a scared kid who's always running away from everything and refuses to grow up, only continuing the cycle. This tells us exactly who these characters are and what motivates them. You alternate between playing as both of them. Slowly as you progress, the player uncovers more of the story and learns just how these characters are connected and what truly transpired that day. Sometimes you see the same events from different perspectives, slowly reshaping how you as the player understand everything that's happening and has happened. it's not groundbreaking by any means. I mean, you'll see the same exact types of story beats in different games, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, you know. But I found myself way more emotionally invested than I expected, and that's a plus. And without even spoiling too much, the game does a great job at building tension, and it knows exactly what kind of story it wants to tell, and despite what you might think, it somehow pulls it off pretty well. There isn't too much to expect from a linear shooter that came out in 2006. I mean, it's not just mindlessly progressing and then shooting up bad guys like some sort of duck hunt. I mean, it might be. But let's explain why it's not like that initially. Ray's gameplay is very aggressive. Dual pistols, heavy combat, and a sort of bullet time. Ray can holster his gun, then suddenly pull out his dual-wield pistols and gun down entire rooms in slow motion. He does have an interesting gameplay feature at the end of his levels, too, where he does this dueling mechanic with the big baddies. The player, as Ray, will make sure to draw their gun as quickly as possible, only to slow and allow the player to pull the gun from the holster, aim, and fire at the enemy. It feels sort of like a blueprint to what we would be using in Red Dead Redemption. I know, that's the second time I've mentioned that. I really like Red Dead Redemption, and I really like Call of Juarez. Now, Billy's sections are slower and more methodical. Stealth, archery, and a mixture of platforming with light puzzle-solving mechanics. He uses his trusty whip to maneuver around levels. It creates a nice contrast and keeps the game fresh and not feeling so repetitive between the two characters. That said, though, yeah, some of the mechanics are definitely showing their age. Platforming can feel clunky, and sometimes the game just kind of shrugs and says, good luck. Stealth was decent though, and I will say I never felt like I was spotted unfairly, but some of the enemies had some gnarly aim, and they could shoot you through like anything, bushes or whatnot. The level designs were decent though, it kept me on my toes, and because there wasn't much health later on in certain levels, sometimes it felt a little excruciating to just try to tough it out. Ultimately, when the system clicks in the game, despite the flaws, it's genuinely fun. Artistically, though, this game nails the Western atmosphere. You got your dusty frontier towns, you got your desert landscapes, you got your dark churches and wooden saloons. Everything feels authentic in a way that really pulls you into the setting. It's almost like watching your grandparents' version of True Grit. Yeah, not the newer version, no. You know what I mean, where Westerns back then truly felt gritty, grimy, and dusty. Just staring at this screen makes me feel like I need a glass of water on that one. The music and sound design do a ton of heavy lifting too. You get these classic Western style tracks that feel like you're out on the frontier and exploring much of what is unknown at the time. Not to mention, some of the music feels gritty and intense, which leaves the players feeling like they're about to go on an adventure of a lifetime. Now, let's talk about the voice acting, because this is what genuinely impressed me. Ray is phenomenal. His delivery is gritty and aggressive, and it feels just unhinged in the right way. Every line feels heavy, like he's carrying years of rage and regret and obsession. He sounds dangerous and psychotic. It makes every scene he's in way more intense. This is especially apparent when he's asking God for some signs, because it makes it seem that Ray is just as lost as everyone else, but he's willing to put his faith behind his guns.
How dare he end a life as righteous as my brother's? If I could, I would kill him. Lord, is that what what you want from me? To be your sword?
Billy deserves just as much credit too. His voice acting feels authentic. I mean that in all sincerity. He doesn't sound like a voice actor putting on an accent. He sounds like an actual kid thrown into a nightmare. There's nervousness, vulnerability, and sincerity in his performance that makes him feel real. Plus, the way he would pronounce some of his words truly sounded like a Southern kid who either wanted to sound cool but elongated his vowels or mispronounced words because he couldn't confidently speak other languages. Like whenever he would say hombres, it was like hombres.
Yeah, my mom's from Mexico. The town I grew up in is just over the border, and the folks there are mostly white. Like my stepfather, Thomas. A big, mean son of a bitch who just as soon backhand me as look at me.
Honestly, that contrast between Billy and Ray is a huge reason the story works so well, and it does that in a very, very good way, at least for me. Overall, Call of Juarez is one of those games that prove you don't need cutting-edge graphics or polished gameplay to be truly memorable. I mean, it's flawed, it's dated, and heck, it's definitely janky in spots. But it's also intense, atmospheric, and surprisingly emotional. I definitely will be holding this game close to my heart as something that I not only truly enjoyed, but will remember for always. So not to be your stereotypical gameplay review channel, but I'm going to give this game a rating. And to be honest with you, I wanted to say that it's a solid 8 out of a 10. It's not perfect, and it hasn't aged flawlessly, but if you enjoy story-driven shooters like Call of Duty, Gears of War, Halo, then I think you're going to enjoy this. If you enjoy Western themes or digging into underrated classics, this is absolutely worth your time. So I wanted to thank you for sitting through this review if you did, and I hope that you enjoyed the game if you got to watch me play it. I can't thank you enough for stopping by, and I want to say, just overall, you're amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure to check out my other Call of Juarez series coming soon, and also, don't worry, more Escape the Backrooms is coming too. Arturo and I can't wait to see you there. Thanks again, and have an amazing rest of your time.